So today's question is, I have a client who struggles to visualize a future outside of their current reality. They just ended a long-term relationship and they have a hard time visualizing a future without their partner. This sounds like a blast from the past. This is actually my niche, so I definitely have a lot to say regarding this. And so I'm going to answer this in different layers, right? So, first of all, let's talk about visualization and forcing visualizations on clients who have trouble visualizing, because that's not fun. And unfortunately, most hypnosis techniques, and especially NLP techniques, have a lot to do with visualization, right? And if someone has trouble visualizing, which is actually more common than you think, I am one of those people, then it's going to be very difficult to apply those techniques on others. But it doesn't mean that they can get results because there's still a client subconscious mind in front of you. And if you want to do subconscious work with them, visualizations are just something that's not going to work for them. So find something else, meet them at their reality, which I'm going to talk about later. But, let me give you an example here. So I'm someone who can't visualize. You know that NLP technique where you have to, I don't know, visualize a shape or a color of a feeling and put a color into it and put a shape into the emotions or whatever that is, right? I don't do well with that at all. If you ask me to do that, I get very stressed out and pissed off because I cannot see shapes, I cannot see colors by demand. I visualize very differently. I feel my emotions in my body. I don't put colors or names into it. So if you are my coach and you're asking me to visualize and put colors and shapes into my feelings, I don't know what to do with that information. Like I'm gonna make shit up probably, which is not good for me and not good for you as a coach, right? And so this is what we do with our clients unconsciously. When we learn a technique, we assume that it helps with everyone. But like to be quite honest, I never ever visualization techniques from NLP practices never worked for me. And so um but I can still access my subconscious, right? And so when you have someone who can visualize, really meet them where they're at. So instead of forcing them to see shapes or colors um, and see timelines, how about you just ask the client what they're experiencing right now with regards to their problem? Because, for example, this client has trouble visualizing a future without that person. So, what can they visualize right now, right? What can they see themselves as? Because truth of the matter is, if they can't see themselves as, a future without the person, they are somehow associating themselves and seeing themselves in some sort of manner. Maybe just you're just not talking in the language that they can use. They don't talk in the colors and visualness language, but they might be able to feel it in their body, or they might be talking in metaphors to you. They might say something like, it feels like the future is 10 chapters ahead. Meanwhile, I can't even read the first word of this chapter. That is a metaphor. That is the subconscious mind in action, right? And so if they're talking to you in those metaphorical senses, where here you are trying to put colors and feelings into the future or visualize a future, that doesn't land with them, right? And it's going to take a long time for them to actually visualize a future. So what can they see, right? Ask them about their current experience right now. Meet them where they're at. This is a very important principle in conversational hypnosis, and this is what we teach. Meet your clients where they're at. So if they can't visualize the future, what can they visualize? Maybe right now they're just in a state where they're just so devastated from the end of a relationship, which is valid, right? So as a coach, how can you give space for that person to just allow them to feel whatever it is that they're feeling instead of the toxic positivity of focusing on the future when right now the present moment is a struggle for them? So, because if you look at it this way, if you focus on helping them deal through the struggles they're experiencing right now, and you actually do a good job with the root cause of why they can't visualize their future, once you work through that issue, once you work through the current experiences right now and the blocks that are stopping them from visualizing a future without the other person, then they are going to be in a eventually once they start processing, their mind is going to start to rewire and start to see the different possibilities without the person, and that won't happen until you deal with the actual block first by talking and investigating about the problem and their current experience as they're experiencing it now. And this is a big principle in conversational hypnosis. So with the questions, if what do I do if I have a client who struggles to visualize a future outside of the current reality? Focus on the current reality, right? Focus the attention on the current reality and what they perceive this current reality to be. Because when you are really good at shifting their current reality, their perception of the current realities, that starts the rewiring process so that they can see the future, or they're able to see the future. It's kind of like, if you have a glass of water and it's full of dirty water, which is probably most of our clients, right? It's full of dirty water, a lot of dirty, like old negative trauma, emotions, beliefs that aren't theirs, all the things that are no longer serving them is inside this dirty water. Now you can try to put clean water in it and maybe it'll dilute it. But if you want clean water ASAP, what do? You pour the dirty water out, clean the glass, and then put clean water in, right? And so in their current reality, they have all this dirt. So help them eliminate all that dirt so that when new water comes, it's clean. This is the metaphor of how you can help your clients. As you can, as I told you before, I can't see colors or pictures in my head very well, but I can speak in a lot of metaphors, which is how my subconscious communicates. So this is, a great example of this. So, I mean, this was a very long-winded answer to the question, but if you have a client who can't visualize the future, make sure that you clean that glass, make sure you help them clean out and fine tune and remove all the things that are no longer serving them, beliefs, um, emotions, old trauma, help them do that so that they can get to they can visualize the future or start to see a future outside of their current reality. And you can only do this again by meeting them at their current reality, because it is through meeting them at the current reality also is what's going to help them trust you, because they'll feel seen and heard. And then once you establish that deep unconscious rapport, then they'll be able to start opening up to you. You'll be able to clean that dirty glass, and then you can help them put the wonderful, clean future that they have hired you to help them with. So I hope that helps. Any questions, let me know, and I hope to see you soon.